would like to begin by saying Happy Teachers' Day to all the good teachers. And I emphasize all the good teachers. Yeah. Because there are some teachers who are, let's not go into details. Yeah. But anyway, Happy Teachers' Day to all the teachers, wherever they are, wherever you are. We appreciate you. We appreciate the work that you do. All of us are able to write and read. Some of us who are able to do that because of you, because of your contribution. Otherwise, if we didn't pass through the hands of a teacher, we would be very primitive, some of us. But teachers are always there to sweep out bututu from our heads. So today is a big day. We appreciate them for all their contribution. Sometimes we forget that all the doctors, all the big people that we have in our world today had to pass through the hands of a teacher for them to be what they are and for them to be doing the great things that they are doing. In other words, we can even say that teachers are those important people in our society that sometimes or many times go unappreciated. They do the work in the background. They don't get the credits that others get, but they are there doing the work in the background and making sure that. So thank you very much to all the teachers for the work that you do. Those teachers that are not so good, please, you still have an opportunity to pull up your tokens. Because teaching is like nursing. It's like if you're a good doctor, it's a calling. It's not a career. It's more of a calling than a career. Of course, you earn a living out of it, but it's more of a calling. It's a vocation. God calls you to teach. Just like religious sisters and priests, we are answering, responding to a calling. And unfortunately, we do have some teachers who go into this vocation just to earn a living. They don't consider it as a vocation as it should be. They just go into it, and those are the ones that you find beating pupils, giving pupils punishments that are out of this world. They just went there but there are those who go there with passion, with their heart, and they even go out of their way to do what they've been called to do. Sometimes they work overnight. Is it overnight? No, overtime. Not overnight. Overtime, I meant to say. Yes, they work overtime because they are passionate about what they do. There are also, the other side, some teachers who just look forward to a salary. That's all that matters to them. But we use this opportunity to remind those teachers who are just there for a salary that yours is not a career. It is a vocation. Go into it with passion. Go into it because you feel called deep down your heart. You are participating in the greater work of God of teaching, imparting knowledge. And it's not just imparting knowledge, but also, in a way, imparting faith in those kids or those children that you are teaching. When the children leave home, they come to school, you become parents to them as teachers. And whatever you say to them is important. Children will get back home and they will say, teacher said this is wrong. Teacher said you can't do this. Teacher said you can do this. Because children trust teachers as much as they trust their own parents. Sometimes trusting teachers more than their own parents. So you are very important, especially in terms of the role that you play in the upbringing of a kid. Because everything you say to a kid is important and is taken as true. So take your work as teachers, take your work as a vocation and not as a career, as a source of a livelihood. We used to have a teacher when I was in primary school. I don't know where that man is. I think we were in grade 2 or grade 3. I still remember. Sometimes it could be, he could not be in the mood to teach. He would just come, he's not in the mood to teach. So he would be saying, Vane lelo, first wala imbako akaluimbo filia, na la mushimira kona kashimi, panu maya icho, malata mpukula fuma 1-1. Bakula fuma 1-1, ba head teacher nga bakwipusha tulea kwisa, kula ndatendea kuchimbusu. Kula ndatendea ku toilet. Chapo wofine kuya no kuya. And we loved him for that. You know, as kids, we don't want to sit in class and be. So, yeah. So when that time comes, then we'd start leaving class one by one. And for sure, some of us were met on the way by a teacher, a head teacher, or somebody asking questions. Imumule yako isaim. Yo mkwaitu wakuchimbusu. Ichimbusu chiri kunu manongo go kuleya. You know. So would disappear like that. And would go to kuchibansa mkutea bola. And we loved that man for that. But and I think even now we still have some teachers who behave like that. They'll just come to school and after all, imputwile salary last month tamwasambile 10 tule imba fenyi mutwe shimika vetushimi nangu mlefu mash 1 pala kumana kunsi okwandi whatever. So they are not in the mood to teach. But anyway, today is a very important day for all the teachers, and we say Happy Teachers Day to them. And I hope we are going to do something beautiful for our teachers. If you have a teacher in mind, send them something, you know, just to say thank you for the contribution that you have done. Yeah, I've already sent something to one. I'm planning to send another something to somebody. I'm still planning. Those that taught me, not teacher Chaboli ones. I'm talking about Bajabana Nipunzisa, Bajakutuja. Because I'm still in touch with some of them. Yeah. So it's important to appreciate these people. So coming to today's readings, just briefly commenting on what Jesus is saying in today's gospel. Jesus has mentioned some cities. He has talked about Chorazin, he has talked about Bethsaida and Capernaum. Now it's important for us to know that these three cities or towns that Jesus mentions were Jewish towns, Jewish cities. These were cities where Jesus did a lot of miracles. Like a lot of miracles, because these were his people, so to say. Jesus was born a Jew. So he did a lot of work in the Jewish territories, and these were some of them. Chorazin, Bethsaida, and Capernaum. He has also mentioned two other cities, which are Sidon and Tyre. These were not Jewish cities as such, and so they didn't receive, you know, much of the miracles from Jesus. They didn't see much of Jesus doing miracles. Now, today Jesus is complaining against the Jewish cities. He's saying, woe to you. Woe to you, Chorazin, Bethsaida, Capernaum. If the miracles that I performed in your territories were performed in Tyre and Sidon, those cities, those towns which are not Jewish, those people there would have repented more than yourselves. It's like his own people took his miracles for granted. Like they didn't use those experiences that they had with him to convert. And Jesus today is sounding like he's frustrated, you know, that if these miracles, if I performed them somewhere else, in those cities which are not even Jewish, probably those would have repented, they would have converted. So, woe to you. You know, when somebody says, woe to you, accursed are you. It's like, what tip woe to you. It's not something simple. It's a very hard word. Woe to you, Chorazin. Woe to you. It's something that is coming from a troubled heart, something that is coming from a frustrated heart. Imagine you do something good for somebody and then they betray you. You know, we feel so hurt, and then we begin to say things like, all the things that I have done, and this is what you can pay me back with. You know, like we feel very disappointed with them, and we are almost saying to them, woe to you, Chite, woe to you, Chite, woe to you, Kampanda, Kantua. Let us put this into our context as Christians, that as Christians who have come face to face with Jesus, we too have experienced miracles. We have seen Jesus perform miracles. We have heard him preach. We have the Bibles. We read about everything that Jesus did and all that, meaning that we have a guide for our life. But maybe our process of conversion has been slow. Maybe Jesus is also saying to us too. So where he says, woe to you, Chorazin, maybe let us say, woe to you, Christians. If the things that I've shown you, if I had shown these things to people who don't even believe, but maybe those would have repented, would have converted more than you have done. So many times we take God for granted. You know, it is his duty to bless me. It is his duty to heal me. It is his duty to do this for me. We take God for granted. We take Jesus for granted. And so we don't even make as much effort to evaluate our lives, to see how we stand before him, to see how our faith is before him. We just say, well, I'm a Christian, and that's all that matters. I'm a Christian. So what else should I do? There are people out there who are not Christian. They don't believe in God. But maybe some of them, or most of them, have a better heart than ourselves. Some of them are more loving than ourselves. Some of them are more kind than ourselves. It's something that should begin to, trigger, some kind of thought in us to say, maybe I've not done as much as I should have done as a Christian. That's why somewhere Jesus says, we look at those that are out there and say those are bad. They don't even come to church. They don't even believe in God. Ifo tuliko bwino pantu tulana kuchitente. Pantu tualifola na uniform. Because I even receive the Eucharist. I sing in the choir. I do ABCD. I'm in that committee and that committee. I'm committed. But God is not looking for people who just belong to a church. God is not interested in people who just identify themselves with a smoke-some community or with a particular denomination, with a particular church, so to say. If that has not yet touched your life, your heart, so that you convert, all that is just, make-believe. But God is interested in people that convert. So your belonging to church should actually help you to be a better person, to convert, not just to end at being a member. Then Jesus today would come and say, woe to you as well. Because the things that I've shown you, if I'd shown them to somebody else, that person you think is worse than you, maybe that one would have converted faster than yourself. So it's an opportunity for us, for you and I, to evaluate ourselves. Yes, I'm a Christian. I belong to this particular church. I belong to this particular parish. I belong to this particular committee, smoke-some community, etc., etc. But is that helping me to also be a good person? Is that helping me to be loving, to be kind, to talk respectfully to people, to treat other people well? Is that helping me to be the kind of person that God expects of me? Amen.